As you guys probably know, Ming is a super strong nation in EU4, but with the recent update, they got some hidden features that not many people are aware of that really turn Ming into an even stronger nation with a unique playstyle that is neither playing wide, neither playing tall. It's essentially a combination of the two, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go along in this video. Also want to apologize for not having a green screen. I am in Romania right now, so for the next month or so, you're gonna see a couple of videos like these where you see my beloved background over there. I know, it's the most Romanian background you could ever imagine. Also guys, want to mention, if you enjoyed the videos, consider subscribing. It really helps me out a lot more than you can imagine, and it really encourages me to make more videos like these. And also, if we get 10,000 likes, I'll be doing a super special video on a super secret formable nation that is right now the strongest formable nation in EU4, and I haven't seen anyone cover this yet, and super excited to cover it for you. So let's start this up, shall we? We're gonna go with Iron Man compatible. We have Lucky Nations turned on, and I prefer to play with Lucky Nations, but just because I don't want to hear people in the comments going, "Oh, but Ludi, this is not a Iron Man game because the achievement icon is grayed out, bro." Sometimes, even if the achievement icon is grayed out, it can still be an Iron Man game. Keep that in mind. And as a general note, all of my videos on YouTube are Iron Man games. Also, if you want to see the save game for yourself, you can find it on my Patreon, or if you become a channel member, it is available to both. So as you guys probably know, Ming starts off as the Celestial Emperor. We have the Empire of China mechanics, which revolve around the Mandate of Heaven. Essentially, whenever your mandate is above 50, you get some bonuses here, like national unrest reduction, stability cost reduction, and so on. But whenever the mandate is below 50, you get massive debuffs. So you really do not want to get your mandate below 50, because then you are absolutely crushed. Your units are paper units, your economy is destroyed by the goods produced reduction, and you get a massive amount of rebellions from the unrest that you get from here. So that being said, let's make sure we know how to keep the mandate up. That is fairly easy. We just have to have positive stability, prosperity in our cities, as well as we get some from the Forbidden City, which is a monument in Beijing, I believe. Eventually, once we upgrade this bad boy to maximum, we can get 0.05 passive mandate growth. We also have the meritocracy system that essentially works similar to the mandate. It increases essentially by having advisors, and the higher skill tier of your advisors increases the meritocracy. You can get a lot of juicy stuff with meritocracy, like dev cost reduction and core cost reduction, tax modifier, infantry combat ability, and a few other things here. But the juicy stuff is the celestial reforms. Each and every one of these celestial reforms gives you something special, like extra diplomats and trade efficiency, monthly autonomy change reduction, core creation cost reduction, guaranteed monarch skill +1, and the last one gives you the ability to turn your tributary nations into vassals. That is absolutely insane, because this was recently added, and the ability to make all of your tributaries vassals is significant, because look at this, boys. We start with pretty much everybody that neighbors us as a tributary, and we're gonna diplomatically make a lot more tributaries. There you go, established tributary. We can directly make come a tributary already, and we can just do the same for our other neighbors through military means if we cannot do it through peaceful ones. So the first thing we'll be doing is we're gonna get some juicy advisors. We're gonna get the Diplo reputation guy, since he is +3, and that means that, remember, we get extra meritocracy here based on their skill level. So we're getting 0.75 from the fact that this dude is level 3. Same thing goes for the other guys. We're gonna get level 3 advisors. We're gonna need a little bit more money here, so what we're gonna do to get that money is we're gonna go to our estates. It's gonna be a fairly standard estate with the +1 mana privileges, but we cannot give out the 3rd mana privilege because we don't have enough crownlands. So what we'll do is we're gonna seize crownlands, and then after we give out the mana privilege, which means we have no starting crownlands at all. It is disastrous. Well, we actually have 1.6 crownlands. Don't worry though, we're gonna get crownlands. We also gave out the -25% advisor cost reduction privileges, supremacy over the crown, and we're also giving the harmony privilege because we do need harmony desperately. We have a weird religion, Confucian, which can be weak, but it also can be super strong depending on how you wield it, because it can harmonize every single religion in the world. You already have Mahayana harmonized at the start, which offers minus 10% idea cost reduction, and you can also harmonize 3 more religions at the start that can offer advisor cost reduction, production efficiency, or national unrest. It's up to you whichever one you want to go for. I personally really like the advisor cost reduction, but do take note it does take a very long time and it costs yearly harmony, so unless you're willing to lose some harmony, you're set to go. However, that being said, it is sometimes wise to wait a little bit until you get your harmony to about 70-80 before you start harmonizing religions, because having low harmony does give you less meritocracy and corruption passively increasing. Looks like our state's mission is to conquer the province of Ordos. Okay, so I'm guessing that's perfect. Ordos is in the Oirat land, which we're going to be attacking anyway with the 4th tributary CB, so it only costs us 50% aggressive expansion to make these guys our tributary, or to take their provinces for that matter. So this CB is super freaking overpowered. We're also going to be taking the indebted to the Burghers Guild loans, because we do need some money at the start, and we're going to get that 3rd advisor and we're going to level him up a little bit. There you go, he's level 3 as well now. We're also going to get the expand palace bureaucracy for the extra core creation cost reduction and the dev cost reduction, since we'll need both of those. And take note, a lot of your tributaries after you do your estates are going to be a little bit disloyal, because you do have the liberty desire from subject development plus 100 if you do what I did here. However, don't worry about it, they're still not going to go full on a rampage on you, and if you really want to, you can bestow gift on them, which lowers their liberty desire by 15, and so they are now super loyal, and the gift is not really that much compared to your starting economy. Also want to point out the fact that you would really need to have prosperity in all of your places, and you really don't want prosperity to go down, so that's why you need to make sure that your fortifications actually cover every single last one of your provinces. So that means you're going to have to delete a few forts around here, and you're going to have to replace them with better position fortifications. So for example here, even though Datong is a mountain fort and it is definitely a great location, it would be a lot better if we replace this with a fortification in Ningwu, since Ningwu covers Ordos, Taiyuan, Luan, Daming, as well as the other provinces that were covered by Datong before, whilst the ones that are not covered from Ningbu are covered by Beijing anyway. So this way we win a few extra provinces, make sure that these extra provinces do not lose their prosperity whenever they get it. Other areas like this one here, you simply just need to build a new fort, because there's nothing here to lower devastation whatsoever in case you do get it here. So with the starting money, you can invest in a few fortifications from the beginning, and then as you get more money in the game, you can get more. Don't worry, you have a ton of money, even though you have 0.18 on the minus now, because we have 3 level 3 advisors, and we start with 94,000 units. This will go up a lot more after you get your prosperity and after you do your first couple of wars. Make sure you assign your galleys over here to hunt pirates in your main nodes, and your 6 starting light ships to protect trade in the Hangzhou node. We're gonna build more light ships actually. We're gonna try and get at least 30 light ships at the start. Even though you go over your naval force limit, don't stress, you'll be fine, trust me. And we started moving our units by the border with the Oirats, which will be our very first target on the 11th of December. If you've seen my Oirats video, you do know that once you do attack the Oirats, and we're gonna do that right now, Forced Tributary State, let's go, you're gonna get an event. Let's unpause, and there you go, the Tumu Crisis, where your leader gets converted to a general, and if the Oirat army win a battle against the army where this leader is leading, that means they capture my leader, and the Oirats get some massive buffs. Also, after they capture the emperor, if they take the city of Beijing, then all of northern Ming will be transferred to Oirats. So in this war, I can easily crush them, but I need to make sure that I do not assign at all this leader or this general to any army. So this way, the Oirats cannot get that event triggered. There you go, easy mode, avoiding that particular disaster. I also need to make sure they don't take Beijing, but that goes without saying. They're not going to even get close to that. I got 5 times more troops than they have. We're going to crush them. We will need a general though, so let's go ahead and recruit one. He's got a siege pip, not bad overall. He's going to be leading our thrust into the Oirat land. Just to point out how unlucky I am, my gold mine depleted. You start with 3 development in the Henyang gold mine, and the chance of of this 3 development gold mine depleting are literally 0.01. 0.01, dude! In 2 months, it depleted. So now I got 1.5 base production, because the only way in EU4 you're gonna get a fraction of a number as your development is whenever a gold mine depletes, and you do not have an even number, it is an odd number. So if it's 3, it's gonna go down to 1.5. This is just the worst freaking RNG ever, dude. Time to get a second Generalski. This time 2 siege pips. Holy shit, Min Khalifas. What a Chad general. He's got some pretty big siege pips. We have so many units that we're pulling off World War I tactics, going with a massive amount of troops from province to province and carpet sieging them completely, since, you know, we outnumber them by a lot. The best way to fight the rats is to wait until they get movement locked and then try and intercept their armies, because they have fewer units than you, and because they will split their armies apart massively, it's going to be pretty easy to just kill them off one by one before they merge and do any actual damage. That being said, don't do what I just did. I thought this was a mountain province, but this is actually a desert province. So whenever it's a flat terrain province, hordes like the Oirats get a massive bonus to their shock damage, so they inflict 25% more shock damage. But if it was a mountain, they would get a debuff. Wait, where the hell are the mountains? Holy snaps. Oh my god, all the way here. Wow, okay. But yeah, if it isn't a mountain, the battle, then they get a minus 25 shock damage decrease. So you want to fight them in not flat terrain whenever you do fight them, and avoid their amazing generals as well. They do have some pretty strong generals. We still won this because obviously we outnumbered them by a lot. Like I always like to say, never underestimate the horde. Dude. Alright, we already got 73% of the war score. Guessing after I take the capital, I can enforce my peace deal. In true Ludi RNG fashion, this fort managed to hang on until 64%. It eventually did fall. But hey, now we got 99%. I'm still gonna wait for a couple of months until I explore these 2 provinces here with my army, since I am at war with the Oirats. Every time I see a unit at the edge of the known universe here, I think of that scene from the Fellowship of the Ring, where Sam goes, "Mr. Frodo, this is the furthest I've ever been from the Shire, sir." And then he makes another step and a bunch of Oirats wipe out his entire stack here. You bastards! You destroyed my little moment that I had. How dare you, Oirats? Alright, well, you know what? It's the time for the peace, and we're gonna be making them our tributary. And the reason we make the Oirats our tributary is because we need to have every single last one of our neighbors as our tributaries to avoid certain disasters from triggering, because the Ming do have a lot of potential disasters that can destroy their nation if we don't keep them in check. But if we do keep them in check, then we get massive benefits from this nation. The peace deal, aside from tributary, we also will be taking a bunch of land here. We're taking all the way here, so we have a connection to Chagatai and Uzbek, and we're also taking this strip over here to have a connection to the rest of the Manchu lands. Coalition, it is only the Oirats, 136, 122, Daria, go boys. We did our first war, and we already expanded like crazy, which means we got this mission done, and we got 50 admin points for that. Plus, we got 3 crownlands, not too much, but better than nothing, okay? It is only 3% crownlands, because we do start with 1,100 development, so keep that in mind, because you get crownlands from new provinces conquered based on your starting development, or better yet, the amount of development that you overall have whenever you conquer those provinces. So it's a lot harder for Ming to get these crownlands up. You can still do it very easy from developing provinces, which is what we're going to do in the next step. We're also going to assign all of these bad boys to Hangzhou trade node. Oh no, our absolutely trash leader just passed away, and his horrible little heir is now the new leader. He's equally trash. 112, bro, come on, seriously. Now the problem is, guys, that we have loans, and loans lower the mandate, and we also don't have stability, and we have a little bit of devastation in the provinces that we conquered. So for the next few years, we will try to lower that devastation, increase our stability, and get rid of those loans. Oh, this is a really great event. So we can choose between 1 stability and 5 meritocracy, or 50 prestige and 5 meritocracy. Obviously the stability is something we desperately need right now. And also, guys, take note, after you do conquer the lands of the Oirats and you have that overextension, overextension affects Ming a lot more than most nations because of the unique mechanics that they have. So that's why you want to do this war very early on, so that you give it some time for that overextension to settle down after you court everything essentially, and you don't have the overextension problem anymore. You consolidate these lands, you get even stronger. Looks like we got another mission, this time to attack Solon. That is perfect because I was planning to attack Solon anyway. It's not going to be a tributary war, this is going to be a regular conquest war because I want to fully annex all of this so I have a proper border with the rest of these guys in the northern parts here. So long, Solon. It's a horrible joke. I'll try not to talk anymore, okay? I apologize. Your autonomy is gonna grow really fast at the start because you basically have a massive debuff from your estates. So because of that, remember to lower your autonomy around 1452 to 1454. Around this time, you should have close to 10% crownlands, which means you're getting very little autonomy debuff from your crownlands. And it also means that overall in your provinces, autonomy is not going up anymore, but it still went up in the meanwhile, so you want to lower whatever went up so you can get the full amount of money and manpower that you can get from these provinces, of course. Because we lowered our autonomy, we're gonna get a bunch of rebellions around the world here, so get ready to fight rebels. Make sure you assign your armies to automatically suppress rebellions all around the country. I'm getting one more general, not because I absolutely need another general, but because this means I get 5 professionalism, so I can slack recruitment and get all of my armies up to full strength, because I'm gonna need them to full strength since I'm going to start expanding in this area a bit more. We dealt with most of our rebellions and we've stabilized our country, so now it is time to continue our expansion. Despite in the early game Ming having a slower expansion rate, as we go along in the mid to late game, it scales up massively. And speaking of, if you guys want me to do the Kotao achievement where I have to have a subject of each religion group, so that means I'm going to have subjects from the New World as well and other parts of the world, then let's get 12,000 likes on this video and I'll definitely do the second part for this campaign, but only if we get this within the first month after this video was released. This way I know that people actually are interested and they want to see the second part for this, instead of getting the like goal after 6 months and then I get people asking when part 2, when clearly there was not enough interest in the run in the first place. Time to change our units. We can choose between the defensive and the offensive Asian soldiers. Now I'm obviously gonna go for the defensive Asian soldiers. I don't want the offensive ones, because then they're gonna spit in my soup, aren't they? Because you know, they're offensive. That is what offensive Asian soldiers means, right? Okay, this event has triggered like 3 times already. Holy mother of God, that's a lot of stability you're getting as Ming. I actually forgot to co-belligerate Nanai, but it is fine. They've unconditionally surrendered to me, so there's nothing they can do. And I'm just taking a little bit of extra aggressive expansion. It's not the end of the world, okay? Look at that. Just Shibe and Orochoi would eventually join a coalition against us. And guess what? Shibe and Orochoi are not going to be around for too much longer. It's going to be rightful Chinese land here, sir. As my first idea set, I went for exploration ideas. I highly recommend as Ming, you go for exploration ideas so you can first off get to the New World, and not only get to the New World, but start colonizing around the Australian land and also make your way to the south tips of Africa and all these islands here, because you first off managed to cock on over the Europeans from getting these rich lands, and you also managed to establish your domination over the Indonesian parts also, with the Malaccan trade node being the richest node in Asia eventually. And because of that, we want the richest trade node to be under our control, of course, not anybody else's control, am I right? And just overall, exploration for Ming is a massively great idea set to go for first, since you have the economy. I mean, we're getting 28 ducats, bro, as profit per month, and we have a massive army. There's literally nothing anyone can do to touch us, so there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't go for exploration. Yes, this is one of those rare moments when Ludi does not go quantity economic first. I also want to suggest, in case you are struggling with manpower, that you change the tribute that your tributary is offering you to manpower. You can change and you can get either ducats, various mana points, or manpower. The mana points is not going to be available for the smaller countries, but it is going to be available for the mid to large sized countries though. So just to extract the manpower at the start, you're gonna need that a lot more than money, since economically speaking, you are an absolute beast that produces ducats out of its bottom, okay? That's what's happening here. I also strongly recommend that you start doing your celestial reforms whenever you reach 100 mandate, because it does lower your mandate by 70, so it does bring a lot of benefits, but because it lowers this by 70, after each mandate reform, you get a massive amount of unrest and your economy drops like hell, plus your troops are super easy to kill off. So after you do your reforms, do not do any wars for at least a few years until your mandate reaches 50 or above. We're also going to get our beautiful colonists over here, and we're going to start colonizing. First off, of course, we're going to start with the Filipino area here to work our way into the Indonesian part. I believe the island of Taytay is the best location to send off our first colonist. We're also going to send some units there to kill off the indigenous people before we give them a chance to rebel against us. It is going to cost 19 military mana to kill these boys off. Actually, it probably is going to cost a little bit more because they're not going to die off the first time. But it's worth it because now, since there's no natives here, there's nothing to rebel against us, and this province is going to become Chinese culture or Jingzhou culture, whatever our primary culture is. I think it is Jianghuai. My bad. I think it is Jianghuai, yes. Our mandate is back at 50, which means that we are not getting any debuffs for our armies. So because of that, we're going to be attacking another nation. This time we're attacking Ainu, and we're doing this because Ainu borders the Japanese daimyos. So this is essentially our way into the Japanese island for strategic Chinese reasons. I don't know. I got nothing. I'm the baddie, okay? I'm the baddie in this scenario. You know, if I don't get my residency next year when I apply for it, because I live in Japan as a resident, well, this is probably the reason why. Because I gave Hokkaido over to the Chinese. It's only a game, Japanese immigration officer that watches my videos. Please, please, I need those 3 years. Okay, come do it. Give me the 3 years. I've been living off of 1 year residency for the past few years, man. Please. Skipping a little bit forward, we've done a few things around our kingdom. First off, we made the Uzbeks a tributary. Diplomatically, I did not have to go to war with them, and I can do the same with Ternate, Tidor, and Brunei. However, I will do it with Brunei. Sure, that's not too bad, but I plan on conquering both Tidor and Ternate, and I have my colony right next to them right now being built, because these are clove provinces, and cloves is the best trade good in the game. Not only is it the best trade good in the game though, but it's only found in these 2 provinces at the start, and potentially can spawn in these 5 provinces overall. No other provinces can spawn cloves around the entire world, with the exception of Zanzibar. I also canceled my tributary state as overcome so I can attack them. I want to fully annex all of Khum rather than have them as a tributary, because by annexing this area, I get access to the rest of the Tibetan land and eventually to the Indian lands. There's a gold mine now in the province of Taparang, so because of this extra gold in Tibet, we're gonna do what the Chinese did, and we're gonna pretend Tibet never existed. The really epic part is the fact that Ternate is also allied to Makassar, which means we can get even more lands in the southern parts here in the island of Sulawesi, so we can extend our influence a lot faster within the Indonesian parts. We're also on our way to exploring and colonizing the New World. If we get a colony in the New World, then we have a chance of having colonialism spawn in our country rather than have it spawn in Europe, which in turn means the Europeans have to develop the colonialism in their own land, so it's gonna cuck on over the Europeans even more. Meanwhile, I've also developed and I've spawned in Renaissance in the province of Shankyu. There's a few provinces that really are great to spawn it in. Shankyu is really amazing because it doesn't take too many mana points to develop Renaissance in here, and it is a cloth province, so by developing cloth, we get even more income from this one province. Plus, since we developed a little bit of the tax, look at this, a church gives us 0.43 in Shankyu, whilst the workshop that we already built in there gave us close to half a ducat alone, and that's gonna scale up even more as we go along in the game. Oh, these bastardos, man. Chagatai is trying to get the gold mine, and they're sieging it down now, so I'm not gonna waste my troops by sieging this also. I'm gonna let them peace out first. They've integrated their vassal. I probably should attack them next. I need to get a claim first. I don't have a claim yet. Yeah, they have another gold mine in Kuka over here. It's 2 production, but hey, you know what? 2 production is better than no production, right? And of course, they did take everything here, bruh. Your days of freedom are over, Makassar. The Scottish Mingstians are here for ya, boys. Time to get some cum in this country, boyos. There ya go. Now we have a border with Tang and another border with Chagatai. Since our knowledge of the western parts is a little bit limited, we're gonna ask our ally over here, well, tributary here of Uzbek, to give us that information. Remember that you need to have at least one unit adjacent to the area that you want to discover, so I sent some of my ships over here to be adjacent to the Arabian land so I can actually discover Arabia. I'm gonna do the same with the rest of this area here, since I'm gonna be at war with the Timurids soon for my war against Chagatai. This is gonna be the biggest war of this session, at least, and I'm gonna really enjoy it. I'm gonna savor this war, you know what I'm saying? This right here is a classic example of what I was talking about earlier, where in mountain provinces, whenever you fight hordes, they get minus 25% shock damage. Uzbek decided it's a great time to attack Nogai, and I definitely agree, because now that Nogai is fully occupied, they're okay with giving me a white piece, and since I've taken the capital of the Timurids, I can get a white piece from them also, or better yet, I can get 42 ducats, a whole 42 ducats, my boys. Meanwhile, Chagatai is in complete shambles here. They got tribal rebels spawned in, separatists spawned in, and everything else, so let's just go ahead and take some of these provinces off their hands. I think this is a fairly good deal here, since this allows me access to Afghanistan, it gives me most of the Tibetan lands that I'm interested in, and allows me to get future expansion in the western parts. But now we got 95 overextension, so we really gotta chill for the next few years and fight a lot of rebels in the process. Just finished harmonizing the pagan religious group, and I didn't go for the advisor, I went for the pagan group, because the pagan group includes animists, it includes Tengri, and as you can see, I do have a bunch of Tengri over here, as well as quite a few animists, not only there, but in the Indonesian parts, which I am definitely focusing on right now. So harmonizing the pagan group made a lot more sense to me. I will start with the other ones afterwards, but now I need to wait for my harmony to go up a little bit, since it is quite low, and it's giving me a massive amount of corruption because of that. Also, check out the amount of nations that want to become my tributary peacefully right now. I will accept some of these guys, of course, but I'm not going to accept all of them. I also want to mention that if you really don't want to rush with the conquest of these lands, you can wait until either Ternate or Tidor, or both of them, colonize these 5 lands here, because they have missions that allow them to colonize these areas very early on and super fast, faster than you're going to be able to colonize it. However, I'm not a patient person, and I'd rather colonize it myself, because if they colonize it, then it is going to be Malaccan culture, and I'd rather it be my culture. And boy, do we look a lot better now that we've integrated all of Tibet in our lands. Well, with the exception of Gurkha, but they're going to be gone soon as well. We just got to wait until our overextension goes down a bit. You know those fights between brothers during family meetings? Well, that's pretty much what's happening over here. There's a lot of infighting between the Mongolian tribes. Some of you might be wondering why the Schnappeldupe is Ludi not colonizing Australia, when everybody knows colonizing Australia and feeding Australia all of your lands and then tag switching over to Australia is pretty much the best Ming meta. I agree, it is. I've already made a video on that showing how you can do that and what comes out of it, so you guys will find a link to that video in the description below if you're interested in that type of run. But I'd rather not do the same video again and again, and that's exactly why this one is a little bit different from that particular run. Oh, what? Uzbek? Oh, this is not good. Uzbek takes over Chagatai. It's gonna be a lot harder for me to kill off Chagatai. Well, I guess Chagatai's got a little bit more war score. Yeah, it's got 102, so they're gonna be left with maybe 1 province. I also want to point out that Ming has quite a few monuments that are massively powerful that really help out Ming overall, and you should definitely maximize these monuments whenever you can. Like, for example, the one in Yangzhou, the Temple of Confucius, whenever it reaches level 3, gives you 50% religious unity, as well as harmony increase 0.5, so that's really going to be of help. Similarly, the Great Wall of China can give up to +2 attrition for enemies globally, which is massive. This is probably one of the strongest monuments out there. So I'll leave you guys here. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see the second part, you know what to do. And until the next time, check out this awesome Totemist Aztecs video. And I want to give a massive thank you to all of my patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers. I would not be able to do this without all your support.